Hi, it's Mary-Jo Duffy with Paws Up Positive Dog Training. Today I'm here with Grayson. He is an almost 1-year-old Bernedoodle. So that's a Bernese Mountain Dog crossed with a poodle or a doodle. We're not exactly sure, but he's a lovely guy. He is a dog who is off leash most of his life. He lives on a farm and he gets to run a lot. He goes to the dog park. He's off leash a lot. So today we're going to work on some fundamentals and mechanics of loose leash walking. So where do we begin? When we have a dog who doesn't have a ton of leash opportunities, doesn't have a ton of leash skills. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this is his regular food. So I am going to carry that in my left hand. I'm going to keep my leash. This is a very thin leather lead. This is what I prefer. It's easier in my hands. So my leash is going to go, I'm a righty. So my leash is going to go in my right hand. I'm going to take the loop over my thumb and then I'm going to accordion, good boy, the rest of the leash. So I've got a nice little J in the lead. That means it's loose. Good boy. Good, Grayson. Yes, good boy. Here we go. Good boy. Good. So I'm reinforcing him for staying in the general vicinity. If he lunges out, like most dogs will do, I just stop, get him back, good boy. And then maybe we walk in the other direction, just to mix it up. Good, right here. Good boy, good, good. I'm trying to make it that much more interesting staying with me. Good boy. So I'm making myself interesting and we're walking together. Good boy. When he checks in, looks at me, definitely reinforce. Good boy. Good boy. 3 things to think about before you take your walk. Is your dog motivated? Has your dog just had a big dinner? Well, that's a missed opportunity. Use your dog's dinner to reinforce while on a walk. Make sure that the distractions are low. This is a driveway. We're starting low and slow. We don't want to go out onto a huge busy road when the dog is going to be completely overwhelmed by all the stimulus that's out there. So think about your environment and then just make sure that your dog is ready to work, okay? And have fun. Let's talk about equipment. Okay, some of this is personal preference, but I would like to give you some loose guidelines to think about when you're buying equipment for loose leash walking. Leashes, I'm not a huge fan of retractable leashes. I think they have a place in the woods, in more remote areas when you have a little bit more freedom, can let your dog out to the end of that lead. They do have a place, I'm just not a huge fan. This is my preferred leash, 6 feet, leather, very thin. Now Stevie's not a huge dog, but I love the way that this leash feels in my hands. I can accordion up the slack nicely, easily, it's convenient. I don't love a really thick, heavy leash. You also want to be mindful of the buckle on the leash. I see a lot of people with tiny little dogs and these giant buckles on the leash, and that's really heavy for a little dog. So think about these things. I just love a good old-fashioned 6-foot lead. Okay, so that's leashes. Let's talk harnesses. Okay, let's get Stevie off of her little chair here, and I want to show you what this harness looks like on her. This is the Pet Safe 3-in-1 harness. I love it. We just got this. You can see that it fits, it goes over her head, which she doesn't love, but we're working on that. Comes around under the front legs, does not restrict her shoulder movement. This is really important. Some of the front clip harnesses out there will restrict a dog's gait, and you want to be really mindful. That could potentially cause orthopedic issues down the road. So 3-in-1, Pet Safe. The other 2, RUFFWEAR, the front rage harness, I really like. And then the Blue 9 Pet Products balance harness is another option. All Y-shaped harnesses will not restrict the gait of the dog. So let's recap what we learned about getting started on loose leash walks. This is nothing natural about a dog on a leash. So keep your expectations realistic. It's really hard. This is probably the #1 complaint over my many years of being a dog trainer. #1 most difficult thing for a dog to understand is leash manners. It's just not natural. So be patient and find an environment in which your dog can be successful. That might be your driveway, that might be just a very low distraction environment at first. You want to build up to busy streets, lots of dogs, lots of distractions. It's really important to start slow. Equipment, which we talked about, but I didn't talk about why I don't use collars. I'm not a fan of any sort of pressure around a dog's neck. You guys already know how I feel about corrective collars. Don't do it. It's unnecessary, it's inhumane, don't do it. That's an across the board no. But a regular buckle collar, which Stevie always wears, if she gets interested in a squirrel and I don't happen to see her lunge, she did this recently, she almost took me off of my feet and almost impaled herself from the force of that yanking on a collar. So I really like just a nicely fitted harness. So think about all of these things when you're working with your dog. You're gonna have to have a fair amount of patience with this exercise. It is not easy, it doesn't come naturally. Find the motivation. If your dog is super food motivated, don't feed them their breakfast, feed them on their walk. Ask them to work for you on their walk. If your dog is toy motivated, keep their favorite toy in your pocket. There are lots of ways to motivate a dog to want to stay nice and close. It's practice, practice, practice. There's no magic secret, there's no magic potion. It's just you have to invest the time and the effort. But it's really worth it. To have a dog who walks politely on a leash is a real pleasure. So I hope you found that helpful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.